Grace and peace, everyone. Grace and peace. Chime on in. It is your girl, your co-host, Cynthia J. On the Cynthia J Show, holding us women accountable, not excluding the men. Holding us women accountable, not excluding the men. Your birth and doula, your herbalist, your psalmist, your truth seeker, and so much more. Chime on in, chime on in. Today is Thursday. Woo woo! Today is Thursday. We have made it strong at the strong end. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. For those who are just chiming on in, you can follow me on YouTube right now at Cynthia J22 at Cynthia J22, just in case we get disconnected on other live stream platforms. You'll still be able to see me on YouTube. Yes, chime on in, chime on in. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Let your family members know we are on here live right now, Eastern Standard Time after 7 o'clock. Today, we're going to be going over some updated topics and events. Chime on in, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. For those who are just chiming on in again and do not know who I am your girl, Cynthia J, on the Cynthia J Show, your co-host, holding us women accountable, not excluding the men, coming here with updated current events. I am your truth seeker, your birth and doula, your postpartum, your psalmist, and so much more. But I missed you guys. How was everyone's week? How is everyone's day? Come on now. We are going strong into the strong end. I call it the strong end now because I don't like to say the weak end. We're coming in strong, the strong end. So today we're going to be going over a few things that have been going on within the past week and a half, guys. I know you guys have been seeing what's been happening. Y'all been hearing the breaking news. Other podcasters and other social media podcasters has already been out here posting updated news and events already. But with me, I like to kind of like let it marinate a little bit so we can get a little bit more information, because sometimes updated current topics at that point in time when it's news breaking, it's still a few pieces that are still taking its time to migrate in our direction. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and chime on in. Shouting out to those who just joined in. I'm your girl, your co-host, Cynthia J, again on the Cynthia J Show, holding us women accountable, not excluding the men. Yes. So before I go in, today is September 11th. Let's give a shout and a piece of praise and a piece of silence and remembrance for those who ascended in September 11th back in 2001. For those who remember that day, like myself, I was in college back in the day in September 11th, and I remember it if it was just like yesterday when the Twin Towers disintegrated on national TV across the world, and how we lost loved ones who worked in these buildings, who worked around them in other buildings. So let's keep in remembrance of loved ones who have passed on in the flesh, yet they're still here in spirit. So let's keep them lifted up in prayer and their families, because some of these loved ones have never gotten to see their children alive, especially to the fathers. Mothers were conceived and they babies were not born yet, and some were, and they were infants, and others who were still adolescents or teens or young adults who did not have their mothers or fathers still in their lives because of September 11th of 9/11 a few years ago. And so with that being said, let's continue to keep those lifted in prayer, those who had lost those loved ones, and send out some hearts and love and shout out to those who pay and sacrifice their life, and those who are trying to help save those out of the rubble during those hard, devastating times. That was the same year that we lost one of amazing artists, Aaliyah, R&B pop singer as well, and many other artists and known legends and known influencers who actually did things that paved the way for us to still walk in that lineage behind them. So, again, let's just give our prayers to the families and the loved ones who have lost their loved ones back then in September 9/11. So, again, let's keep them in prayer. But besides that, just tuning in with some other updated news. We heard about Charlie Kirk's situation yesterday. Very devastating. Everybody's going to give their own opinions and thoughts, but let's not just go by our opinions and thoughts. Let's go by the facts as well. Let's be mindful that, you know, all of the things that have occurred, and I'm going to go ahead and share this while some are looking on my Restream Live, that, as you see this article here, if you're able to see it, let me see if I can split screen it a little bit, maybe get it in a little bit better. Actually, let me put it back over here. But for those who do know the situation, Charlie Kirk has passed away, had been unalive after being shot in his neck in Utah area yesterday, which was very breaking news for those who are hearing about it. Some of y'all heard it on regular news. Some of y'all heard it right on regular social media. Again, you guys have heard his points. Very outspoken individual. Again, just to speak on it a little bit, let me go back and critique this here. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. But just to read this article a little bit here, it stated in the Utah article that he, again, was gunned down and wounded. He suffered from the wound that inflicted in his neck as he was speaking at an engagement, guys, in Utah Valley University. This is on a campus. And this is very sad, though, again, I don't wish anything ill will against certain individuals. Yet to say something like this on a college campus can be very devastating. The news broke yesterday for those who are unaware of it and those who are aware of it. Again, you hear after the afternoon that some of the Republicans thought that the leader and Coast Alley, they say that he was Donald Trump. Again, he was shot in the neck, which appeared to be confirmed by videos. It was very few videos on this, guys, on social media that talked about the situation, and you can see it. It's very devastating that something like that had to have been done on live TV, and especially for younger generation. We are traumatizing our children of all ethnic backgrounds. Yet again, I try not to make this about race, but it still speaks ground, it still speaks volume. But here, this is very traumatizing for a youth who is trying to grow up in society and is trying to learn how to navigate things and to hear others' point of views, regardless of our own understanding and understanding. But here it states in the article again that it was reported that he was hospitalized shortly thereafter and later reported that he did not make it. He was 31 years old, very still young, 31 years old. It is stated that he was supposed to have been the real American voice. Again, I cannot speak on that, but I definitely can say that everybody will have their own influence on certain things like this. I will say that he was very well outspoken, very well outspoken. He meant what he said what he meant. He spoke, he spoke. Again, I'm not into all the politicking and stuff because I see how these things play out, and I see also by own personal experience how things maneuver because we live in a society that's trying to govern the minds of people and govern the minds of our own lives. And the thing is, we should be able to have our own freedom on these things. Needless to say, again, his network ran his show and also confirmed the news as well by John Solomon reporting on just the news that he had passed. And yes, this is what everyone is hearing. Again, right now in the moment, it is very, very hard for some people to talk about this, even his co-host. They also mentioned that they continue on this news about the situation, which came from his host, Mr. Herrick Boland. And as I stated too, they said, let's continue to keep prayers. You know, prayers for his spouse, prayers for Miss Erica's children and for his family. No one wants to find out that their father or mother has been unalive nationally in front of them. This is very sad. It's sad that we as a country is coming to this point where it has to be like this. It's too much for no reason. Just let people be people. Let them do what they do. Yes, certain things are right and certain things are wrong. However, who's to say we are the ones to do it in the way that is being done on TV, on video? Come on now. And on a college campus. And as they stated here again, this is beyond just devastating to since, he was a child, they say he had been doing stuff like this for a long period of time. Y'all seeing me scroll down for those who are on my live stream? You seeing me scroll down so we can talk a little bit more, but it says that he was a leading figure of the MAGA movement and a supporter of President Trump since the beginning. He founded Turning Point in 2012 and regularly hosted campus events where he would ask students to prove him wrong, which was a good challenging thing to do. Prove him wrong. Anyone that come to you and say prove them wrong, that's a good challenge for you and an open door of opportunity to show across the nation or to show at your conference or your rally or what is going on if you have the evidence and the facts to back it up. And again, like they said here in the civil debate, he was also popular online and regular commentary as a consecutive event. And like anything else we see here, as y'all see for those who is reading this article, he had conferences on conferences. He was on Twitter. He was always up there. I would see him myself. And like we said here, it says reports that he has passed away. I'm just scrolling past pretty fast. And again, it's also said that they do have the suspect on this situation here. It was a Caucasian individual. They do have the suspect. So with that being said, for those who are still watching online and keeping up with the updated events, please make sure that you continue to follow on this and keep, up to date, because this situation is very puzzling. Very puzzling. And so with that being said, again, let's keep him and his family in prayer. It's very sad that we have to come across something like this. Very news breaking. I mean, words cannot even be explained right now. We can also state that it's been mentioned that since this incident, for those who are unaware of it, the HBCUs have also been under a lockdown due to this situation here. For those who are unaware of this, yes, HBCUs, Historical Black College, for those who do not know what this is, has been on lockdown due to this situation here. And it's been more than one HBCU that has been placed on lockdown. And I will say my HBCU school that I attended, Norfolk State University, they didn't have it fully on lockdown, but what they did do was that they, for what I come across on their alumni page, that they did notice this situation and that they did have administrators and faculty on high surveillance and watch so that we can be aware of what's going on. And the security is very heavy on the campus. So yes, it's very chilling on this situation here, why this has to be like this. And with that being said, you're going to be seeing me share it for those who are on our stream live right now. I'm going to go over this review. I'm going to read a little bit about it, but it says multiple historical Black universities under lockdown today because of the situation that also occurred with Charlie Kirk at Utah area. So it says college universities and college campuses on lockdown after receiving potential threats today. This happened today, guys, including Alabama State University, Virginia State, which is one of our sister states, sister state schools, Hampton University in Virginia, Southern in Louisiana, and Clark Atlanta University in Georgia. Spelman College, located near Clark Atlanta University, has also implemented shelter-in-place protocol as a precautionary measure duty. The FBI released a statement regarding, this is coming from ABC News article, guys, for those who are unaware of it. As mentioned, that the statement regarding these threats today investigation are aware of the host threat calls to a number of historical Black institutions. Now, this should be a wake up alarming call for us, because if you think about it, the situation happened yesterday. Today, because today is 9/11, and we have historic Black universities being targeted. What does that tell you? What does that accumulate in your mind right now? If you allow that to marinate, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Come on, chime on in. Make sure you're sharing this to those who are going to these universities, and that you're making phone calls to loved ones so that they can be aware and not just hear it on the news itself. So with that being said, let me go ahead and finish this up here. It also stated that the FBI takes this threat very seriously because it put innocent people at risk. The agency said, adding that there is currently no information to indicate credible threat. Y'all hear that? Credible threat. Now, see, this is a sad situation here, that we have to start off the school year like this for our kids. Seriously, it's a sad situation. And as I'm starting to mention this, let me read this copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under the Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use only to all social media platforms that is screening me right now. This is for fair use only for purpose of such criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, education research, and nonprofit educational personal use tips. The balance and fair use. Repeat, fair use only. So let me go back to this here. It mentions also that Hampton University ceased all non-essential activities, including athletic events, because of this situation here, for the remainder of the day and Friday, according to the school websites. And at Virginia State, on their Facebook page, they also mentioned that the school said, out of abundance of caution, VSU remains locked down. You see how serious this is? This is not a game. I like how the fact that they immediately took action and that they are taking our children's lives seriously, especially at the HBCU schools. It is also stated that the school said that the lockdown applied to their entire landmass, which includes the law center. The community is encouraged to shelter and place further notice. You hear that? Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. After the campus lockdown was lifted later on this afternoon, the university announced it was canceling all campus's activities, classes today, Friday, and throughout the weekend. So they're making sure they're taking high precaution and protocols, which is very good. In other words, the Congregational Black Caucus released a statement on Thursday saying that today that the threat against several historical Black colleges and universities are not only vile, they are a chilling reminder of the reluctant. And again, they're taking this, and I don't blame them for taking this, as racism and extremists. So to continue to target terrorizing Black communities in the country. Didn't say no other school, but this is what it says here. They said the caucus called the FBI and the Department of Justice to act swiftly and fully investigate these threats. And that's exactly what happened today. That's exactly. You see me scrolling down for those who want to stream lives here, Alabama State and other news. So we're going to chop on out this real quick. But this goes to show you that it's not a game. This is a serious matter. It is not a game. And yes, peace and love, niece. I see you on here live. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Make sure y'all chime in, invite your friends and family so we can see what's going on today. But yes, this is not a game. This is why it's so important to make sure that we are staying up to date. We are aware of our surroundings, even at schools. I mean, so much is going on, guys, that it's ridiculous. It's too ridiculous of how much within the last, I might as well say 72 to 24 to 48 hours. You hear me going down the line? Yeah. This is how bad this has come to. And it's ridiculous. But on other news, I'm going to piggyback on this too as well, dealing with what happened in Maryland, guys. And not everyone is aware of this, and some are. Y'all have heard me talk about this on my previous podcast. not long ago, last week, and I'm mentioning it again. So I want to make sure everybody can see this. It's on my wrist stream live. Want to make sure y'all can see this. And this is pertaining to the young lady. Peace and love for those who just chiming on in. I'm your girl, your co-host, Cynthia J, on the Cynthia J Show, holding us women accountable, not excluding the men, your birthing doula, psalmist, and inspirational, and much more. So I'm up here to talk about what happened in Prince George County on other breaking news. This was just 7 days ago, but still giving you up-to-date information. Small county, Maryland, is freaking out right now. This is the title of it, because out of 3 women have been vanishing in the DMV area. We have seen live videos and podcast streamings on all social media platforms and TV mentioning about this, and one of them including Dakar Thompson, this beautiful young lady. And it was stated that the residents are on edge. As y'all see this article, they are on edge. I'm going to continue to repeat this because this is something that is need to be said. It's sad, but it has to be said. And for those who are looking at this article right now that's on my wrist stream live, as you are reading this, as I'm scrolling down, we are going to continue to share this because too many young, and these are Black American young ladies, within the past few weeks, as college campuses have started to open in those areas too, as well as other areas, have been overlapping each other and happening back to back. While one woman has been found safe, 2 cases remain open. Investigation in which authorities say one body that looks similar to the young lady that we're talking about is still in investigation. They showed a picture. These are the 3 young ladies. One of them has already been found. For those who are unaware of it, I'm going to read about Thompson again. She was the 19-year-old young lady that disappeared after leaving her home in Laneham, Maryland on August 22nd. She was telling her father that she was getting some gas and later texting that she should be back soon. And she was in her 2013 Ford Edge and was recovered in Hyatt on August the 24th. Surveillance showing her parking, walking away from the vehicle. Recovered, meaning the vehicle was recovered, not her at the time. On the 31st, it was stated that a woman's body was found in U.S. Route of 50. For those who are aware of this, in Andrew County and Prince George County, Maryland, again, they still say the remains of the characteristics of it seem to be her. They were stating that it was unidentified. It's still trying to identify if it's her. So it's been mixed information a little bit, tad bit, if it's her, if it's not. But if anyone know of any other information pertaining to this, any updates on this, please let me know. It was said that looking on surveillance and looking at her cell phone data, and they had a video, picture of the guy who is allegedly supposed to have done something to this lady under investigation as well. So with that being said there, guys, please make sure that you are still staying in tune and paying attention to the situation. If you live in Maryland yourself, please stay tuned and pay attention to your surroundings. Don't get comfortable rattling with your keys. Don't get comfortable if you're on dating apps too much. Don't get comfortable meeting these people at their houses or hopping in their vehicles. It is serious out here. I was just watching something that was just on YouTube day before yesterday, just random, just happened to pop up. And it was a lady who was giving her experience with her friends in Miami, Florida. And it was her, well, actually, it was her and her sister. And she stated that as they were traveling Miami, Florida, that they had came across this place, and this guy who was a promoter. I know some of y'all have heard of this in Florida. And this is why they say, now these days, meeting promoters or people that you meet in hotels or places that you may come across, be careful, because they could be part of sex trafficking or organ trafficking. That's how these abductions occur. And she said that all of them end up meeting this promoter, get on this party bus, and they all just out of synchronicity in one accord just states that, hey, we hope this not a sex trafficking, don't kidnap us, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is what she's saying. Let me take a sip here, guys. And while she's saying this, she is also stating that everybody's laughing and joking. So, but she said, her gut feeling intuition was telling her, well, maybe they need to take this a little serious, but they keep on moving on and doing what they do, right? Then she goes to state that as they're going into one of the clubs, I think it was called Monroe. I might be off, but it was another club next to it. And she stated that when they get there, they all got to wait in line for a minute. And like there are guys that she thought maybe they're the bouncers, security, maybe. They're all dressed up nice, very sophisticated, and they're looking at the different women that came. And they would say which ones that they would want come in first. Knowing that she was mixed, they allowed her in first. And she stated that as she was in there for a while and they was seated at their table, that she noticed how all of a sudden after a while she said, "Well, hold on. A whole bunch of women in here. Where are the guys?" But she see the guys walking around who worked there. Yes. So she started getting this intuitional gut feeling. To all my sisters and ladies out there, listen to your intuition. Make sure we teach this to our young ladies. Listen to your intuition. Don't get all up in your head and in your emotions and, oh, we're going to party, blah, 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 blah. Or, oh, I'm going on a date. He's a nice guy. He doesn't seem like to be. No, listen to that gut sinking feeling because it's going to save you and who else's life. Well, I'm making a long story short. This young lady said as she sensed that, she asked where the restroom was at. She tried to play it off. Her sister came with her. They went in there. They had a restroom attendant in there. They were going to go in the same stall. The restroom attendant told her she could not go in there with her sister in the same stall. She thought that was strange. She said out of all the lounges and clubs she's been to, she's never experienced that. She said she'd been down to the hole in the wall in the shacks. Never experienced that. The lady was very adamant and very mean about it. And she felt uncomfortable. So she started to leave out. Her sister was being outrated and she was trying to calm her down. Now, that should go to tell you how serious something like this we should not take lightly. While all this is going on, she's still seeing a whole bunch of these men that look like security guards stationed. So she's trying to find a way, calculating in her head how they're going to get out of this situation while her sister is spazzing out. This is again why it's so important that we are teaching our young youth how important it is to be mindful of where you're going and to pay attention to your surroundings. When you notice it's a whole bunch of you and not enough somebody else. With that being said, just by the grace of God, they managed to escape out of that. And this was a video she just posted like 3 days ago, and it popped up. And I'm talking about it because even though it may not be as much to this young lady that went missing and others, it's enough to tell you it's time for us to rise up and allow our minds to be focused and open-minded to what's going on. And don't be so catchy on the hype of a party or hype on going out on a date or whatever it is you're doing. Or pay more attention and don't be so distracted about what's going on around you. Because they could have lost their lives if it wasn't for her intuition kicking in. Yeah, they could have lost their lives. And so listening to her tell this story took me back to my college days, took me back to when I used to go out and hang with my friends and stuff. And to be honest with you, I was always the one that was trying to protect my friends. I would watch their drinks when I used to go out and things like that. So with that being said, please, if you're around people, don't let them get comfortable. Don't let nobody hold their drink. If you're a true friend or a relative or whoever you may be, please, 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 please be mindful. Be mindful. Be mindful. Protect one another. Watch each other's back because it's serious out here. It's serious. But on other breaking news, I thought this was very interesting. I might bore some of you guys out. However, I just needed to share this because haven't y'all noticed that lately the CDC and all other news has been placing out that there's these new insect diseases and new sicknesses and stuff popping up out of the blue lately? Is it just me? I mean, all these little things just been popping out of the blue lately. Have y'all not noticed it? Especially like with the little flies and the bumblebees and all kinds of things and these new bugs they say that's coming from overseas, from Asian countries and all kinds of stuff. Have y'all not noticed that? And as I was reading these and they just happened to pop up, out of nowhere lately on my news media. I said to myself, ever since that year, and who remembers this? When they had a festival in Maryland, this went nationwide, a festival in Maryland, and that festival was rated down with large, heavy mosquitoes out of the blue. Do you not recall a few months prior to that they stated that Bill Gates was going to put out there some new mosquitoes? Do y'all remember that? So you're like, Cynthia, what does that have to do with what you're talking about with the whole bugs and situation? Why all of a sudden all these new bugs and mysterious things is popping up? Think about that. It's not just a coincidence. It's not a conspiracy thing. Why I say this? Check this out. So why is there now a new bee, you heard of bee, B-E-E, parasite spreading around the world? This was mentioned a day ago, coming from the Independent. Yes. For those who are watching on my stream live, you're going to see me scroll on this. But yes, this is a new thing here. Help me help this make sense. So let me scroll back here a little bit. So it's stating now that decade beekeepers have been in a fight with this tiny parasite that in which it devastates the honeybee colony around the world. So, you know, based on our climate where we live, for those who took up science class, we know that bumblebees and a variety of different types of bees too as well that give us our amazing honey depending on our area. Yes. So the beekeepers are in fear that these little parasite things, these little parasite bees, are causing havoc on our environment. Yes. They say from Asia to Europe. I'm not going to stay on this long because it's another thing I'm going to get on after this that's going to be about these buggies. But just to screen it for those who are reading this, and I'm not going to read the next paragraph, but I'm going to go down. It's saying that it has been detected in the Ukraine, Georgia, in the state of Georgia, in the U.S. now, and southern Russia, and suspected to be in Iran and Turkey. From there, it's suspected, y'all hear this, expected to enter Eastern Europe and spread across the continent. Australia and North America are also at risk. They're called, they say, why Troopy spreads so fast? That's what it's called, Troopy. Like Vera, Troopy is a tiny mite that breathes inside the brown of the cell, the life stages of the honeybee when the late larva and the pupa develops inside the honeycomb. So that means if we're having issues with our beehives, then that's going to cause us issues with our honey. And that means we won't be able to produce our honey. And this ain't half of it. So now I'm going to chime out of this, guys, for a second and go into another thing here that kind of surprised me here, because I'm like, okay, hold on, wait a minute. We went from honeybees to, what's the other one? The flying lanterns, to the mosquitoes. And now they're trying to say it's something else going on. Let me see if I can find it here. Thank y'all for being patient with your sister here. For some reason, it's not popping up for me now. But that's one of them. And in my mind, I'm like, you know what? We might need to stay off the news. I might need to stay off the news because they just got too much going on around this world. It's like, dag if you do with the food, dag if you do what you don't with the food. I mean, it's just too much. It's just too much. Unnecessary stuff for no daggone reason. Now, let me go to this one right here. And I know you guys remember this situation here. I know you remember. Because this happened not long ago. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Let me chime on to this here. Trying to get it to pull up. Sorry about that. Let me stop sharing that for a moment. And let me pull back up here on trying to get it to come through right. There we go. All right. So, who remember the situation with the black student that was dragged from his car and beaten by Florida officers? Who remembers that? Well, guess what? just a day ago. They filed federal lawsuit against them. Kudos. If you at home, clap your hands right now. Kudos. Because I was wondering about this situation here. Yes, yes, yes. They filed it. They finally filed it. Yes, they finally filed it. So bear with me, guys. Just trying to go ahead and make sure I share this part with you. Making sure it comes through clear for those who are on my stream live. All right, let me go back and view. So, as we see in this poll here, you see this young man, and he's being represented by the Crumps, by the way. This was posted and updated yesterday. And with that being said, as I'm scrolling down here, we're going to read this article. In Florida, Jacksonville law enforcement officers violated the civil rights of the 22-year-old Black college student when they pulled him over from his car. Pulled him out of his car and placed hands on him during a traffic stop. Certain things I can't say on social media platforms, so I got to make sure I be careful here. So, according to the lawsuit filed in Florida court, and this was yesterday, video showing Jacksonville Sheriff Office punching and dragging William McNeil from the car during a stop in February, which went viral online this summer and sparked a nationwide outrage. Prosecutors announced in August they would take no action after determining the conduct of Officer D. Bowser of Jacksonville Sheriff Office and did not. They're saying this constitute to the crime. And according to an investigation report released by the state attorney office for the 4th jurisdictional circuit of Florida, McNeil's attorney, Ben Crump, Harry Daniels, says Jacksonville Sheriff Office police allow officers to engage in racial profiling, illegal or excessive use of force without fear of consequences. Crump is a Black civil rights attorney who has gained national prominence representing victims of police brutality and vigilante violence. Y'all hear this? So, it is an unjust, unnecessary, most importantly, unconstitutional use of force. Crump has stated, this is coming from Ben Crump and the Crump attorney office. They said the lawsuit is aimed not only to addressing the treatment of their client, but a changing the culture of policing in the area. Now, we know we've been seeing and hearing, and for those who have experiencing a lot of violent acts in the state of Florida. Not just Florida alone itself. However, Florida's been on the hot list a lot lately. Now, it also stated, I'm going to go past this, Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters has said there's more to the story than the viral cell phone video, and that McNeil was reportedly asked to exit his vehicle. Now, mind you, this video that they show, was it coming from his phone? You can see on the body cam that it was coming from the officer's cam. So if this situation happened in Florida, but everything was shared and revealed this summer for those who watched it, yes. Let's continue to go. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention because of what the Sheriff T.K. Waters stated. Yeah, sorry about that, guys, these ads. But anyway, it's stated also by him that McNeil was repeatedly asked to exit a vehicle. Water, who is Black, and said the footage from the inside the car does not comprehensively capture the circumstances around the incident. Now, the young man also had his phone recording in the inside as they were showing their stuff on the outside and him showing his stuff from his stuff too. But we're not going to read too much on this article, but I just wanted to and just needed to get you guys to see a little bit on this side here, or why it's so important that we have to educate our children. Let me read this comment. I feel like they are creating these things in a lab. Oh, I am so sorry, my love. This comment was pertaining to the bugs that I was telling you about and all these new parasites and stuff. Not meaning to fall back onto that. However, that is true. I do agree. They are creating these things in the lab. I do agree. But back to the officer situation with our young man. Yes. Yes. If we don't stand for justice, who will? Yes. If we don't stand for justice, who will? Who will? Because how much more do we need to continue to let things slide? Should we let things slide? Should we just say, yes, it's okay and keep it going? Should we? Let me know your thoughts on that, guys. Because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, how much more should you let things like this get away? Because that can be your child, that can be your nephew, your niece, your brother, your sister. I mean, it's just too much. It's just too much for unnecessary reasons. No reason at all whatsoever. But just to give y'all some encouragement for tonight, because we don't want to just make this just to be all about, you know, negative things. I have some good, exciting news from this article that I came across. And I thought this was so amazing, guys, and I want to share with you. And very interesting. This is coming from the Shine My Crown article, and it's in Houston. A Black family welcomes baby girl after 108-year long boy streak. Yes. Now, how often do we hear something like this? Normally it'd be after maybe what, one or two generations, but they said 108. So that means they've been keeping count. The family has had some memorial markings or documentation. 108 years? That's a long time. 108 years, only boys. And finally they get in a girl. Yes. This is so interesting. This is coming for over a century. This is from the Sherman family in Texas. They welcome a generation after a generation of boys, but history will be rewritten the coming following year of next year of a baby girl finally on the way. And it is stated that they are very excited. It is a young man named Michael Sherman. He is a firefighter and his wife. They shared a joyful news with their family on Sunday, and their daughter will be the first girl born into the Black Sherman family over 108 years. This is what they tell ABC 7 Eyewitness News, that they are very honored and they are excited. They said, we are the one bringing the baby girl into the world, and finally after 100 years. For those who can see this on my podcast, this is the family. That is amazing, guys. I actually had a friend of mine, one of my girlfriends, she's Caucasian, and it had been nothing but girls. Nothing but girls. She said for a long time. And finally, she's the one that breaks the cycle with a boy. They spoil my little man to life. They spoil him. So I can definitely understand this here. But just to read this article a little bit, the last girl born into the family of the Shermans was Aurea Bella Sherman. That was Michael's great great aunt, who arrived in 1917, guys, known as the trailblazer in Atlanta. She lived through the civil rights era, met civil rights leaders, and left her own mark in history. Michael said the family often reflects on her strength, her resilience, and now sees a powerful connection between her legacy and the baby girl on the way. This is amazing. And they're showing the generation of the picture of the family. Wish you guys on TikTok can see this. However, this is amazing. I'm still scrolling. And then I'm just going to stop here and read this a little bit. It says that Sherman says this isn't just a pregnancy announcement. It is the breaking of generational patterns that has lasted through the world wars, civil rights battles, and culture shift. This should show you that anything and all things are possible for those who believe. My God, this is powerful. Powerful. This is amazing. So despite of all that's going on in the world today, as we look back at this, just know that through the struggles, the turmoils, the trials, the tribulations, as I'm saying this to you, I'm saying it to myself, that there are things that people say that is impossible, possible. For those who are Bible scholars, who are faith believers, who are spiritualists, we know we carry the power tools of the things that we know that are possible. No matter what man say, it is possible. And I am just glad and privileged to see how this has played its effects and good effects at that. Yes. Yes. I don't know what else to say to you guys, but I just believe that this here is very unique, very inspirational, very encouraging for not just myself, but for you as well. My prayers is that we all can see what is going on out here in the nation today and to know that all things are possible. So with that being said, make sure that when you're out here, you see and you know what you see is possible. Is possible. Is possible. And I say this because it's just so much going on out here that we don't have the faith anymore in some areas like we used to know that they're possible. Like seriously, people are losing their encouragement, their drive, their stamina, their faith. I can speak on that because I was there and still fighting through all of that. Still fighting through all of that. So don't let nobody tell you that you can't have your moments. Don't let nobody tell you can't have your moments. Don't. But I would like to share this one video I would love to play for those who do follow me. And it's been a minute that I shared this video, but I feel that it's necessary for me to share it because it's an encouraging video. And I'm going to play it. It's one of my videos of my first song from my first album. And for those who are on TikTok, you're unable to see it, but I know you definitely can hear it. So I'm going to play it. Encourage you, uplift you, share it with a loved one. Come on now. You gotta stretch your faith. You gotta keep on moving. It doesn't matter Yes. Stretch your faith. Yes, yes. So for those who continue to support your girl on the Cynthia J Show, holding us women accountable, not excluding the men. I thank you guys for chiming on in tonight. Thank y'all for continuing to support me and all the podcasters for those who continually are always behind me. Shout out to my niece. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my family and my spouse and my beautiful spiritual children out there. Shout out to brothers and sisters who are always supporting and encouraged just by watching and tuning in with me. But I'm not gonna hold you guys long. If y'all looking for a birthing doula, you can definitely hit up your sister. Don't be surprised. Don't be scared. But hit me up on all social media platforms. You can find me on TikTok right now, where you can go in my bio and look up my information there in the bio. Just make sure you click on where you see where it says Healing Hearts Tailor Made Doula. Healing Hearts Tailor Made Doula. You're going to see that in my bio. If you're looking for a birthing doula, for those who don't know what a birthing and postpartum doula is, it is someone of servitude that's next to a midwife. We can coach you through the process. We can be with you during the time of your pregnancies in your birthing facility, if it's in a hospital, if it's at home, wherever you desire for you and your family to have it. We will be there through your process of your pregnancy, teaching you techniques, showing you ways as we are co helping you, and you also doing what you're supposed to do as the mother, as the birthing of the womb. And the father is there with you and the family. We also make sure that we monitor you on what your physician also speaks on so that we can do this together as a team. Not only do we do that, we also show techniques in the body movement during the process of you getting yourself ready, like exercises. And the day of when you're giving birth, we also show you positions, and we're there to help you and to relax your body and to get you in the movements. So, for those who are in the DMV area in the East Coast, or you're looking for someone in your area and you still don't know where to look, you can definitely hit us up, me and my co-partner, my sister, who are the co-owner of Healing Hearts Tailor Made Doula. Just contact us through our telephone number, which is on the bio for those who are on TikTok. And for those who are on Restream Live, I will be placing that at the end of the podcast of the information. So stay tuned next week. Hopefully, we don't have no changes, but stay tuned on Thursdays or Friday. Let me repeat that, Thursdays or Friday, because sometimes we may not do it on Thursday, we may do it on Friday. However, stay tuned. Peace and love to all my TikTok followers. I thank y'all. Peace, salam, ma'atep, namaste. Blessings to you. Continue to follow me. Love you guys. And for those who are on my Restream Live, thank y'all for supporting me. Thank you, my love, to my niece. Shout out to you, girl. Shout out to you. Yes. Yes, yes. Love you. Thank you for always supporting your auntie. Thank you for always sharing on the platform, hitting that like button. It may seem like we don't have a lot, but that's okay. There's many in spirit, so it will come to pass. Keep on sharing that love and that peace here. And I salute to all those who forever, I send my gratitude that's always following me. Peace and love and blessings, and stay tuned for the commercials and ads.